Listen now, we the talk around town. Alex threw the ball to Smokey for a touchdown. It's fourth down and you don't really want no more. We've been winning from the door. You should check the scoreboard. Check the scoreboard.
Welcome back to another episode of the Scoreboard. Going into week 8, the season is nearing its halfway point, and we have some fun developments to talk about. Some interesting picks this week as well. But before we get into that, Smokey, how you doing? And how's our prediction standings going?
Man, I am good right now. I'm better than Packers fans at the moment. Could say Packers or Bucks because both of these teams are just used to winning, and they are not right now. Imagine having Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers and you just can't win. That's gotta suck. I mean, I got Mariota, so I'm used to not winning. So that's fine. But if I had Rodgers or Brady on my team, I would be mad right now. As far as the predictions, oh man, you actually gained a couple points on me last week. I think we only disagreed on 2. That was the Saints, Cardinals, and the Falcons, Bengals, which you won both of those. Bengals look good, man, but we will talk about them in a minute. Bring the total.
Did you pick Tennessee as well? Did you pick Tennessee?
Yes, I did.
Ah, damn, I thought I had another one there. I misremembered.
Yeah. Yep. And brings the total to 60 for me and 62 for you.
Okay, sounds good. Start building back up in the lead that I squandered very stupidly over the past 2 weeks, so definitely needed that. Before we get into predictions, let's quickly look at the MVP power rankings. We're doing it every week. So after week 7, here's my MVP power rankings. Number 1, Josh Allen, still up there. He had a bye week. Now, there's an argument. It's always hard to argue if someone gets leapfrogged in their bye week when they're already like in relatively clear number 1. Patrick Mahomes had a phenomenal game, one of the best games he's ever had. So there is an argument there. I'm gonna say Mahomes still in second, Allen still in first. But this week the Chiefs are on bye, which means that Allen has to answer. He has to put up an equally strong performance and probably win the game to maintain that spot and to be steadfast in that number 1 spot, because Mahomes he's not letting go. Number 3, it's still rising through the ranks. Geno Smith is at number 3 of my MVP list through almost half a season. It sounds as ridiculous to me when I say it as it probably does to anyone listening, especially if you haven't actually been paying attention to the season so far, but the numbers dictate him to be on this list. That's all I can say. He needs to be on the list, and the team is winning despite expectations. Number 4, Lamar Jackson dropping down 1 spot, just exchanged him with Geno Smith there. Number 4, newcomer onto the list for the first time this year, Joe Burrow. Bengals obviously started the season very, very weak, going 0-2, and he didn't look great, but now he's back. He's throwing for touchdowns. His passer ratings in the top 5 now, so he's also top 5. Oh, he's also top 5, number 5 on my list for now. And then in the hunt, Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, Aaron Rodgers, and Tua. For Aaron Rodgers, his individual numbers are good. Like, he's still clearly like a top quarterback, top player. But the team wins are missing. Like, they're giving up a special teams touchdown every week, it feels like. And there's one of the rookie receivers drops a wide open touchdown pass every week. Team's not good enough. Team is not good enough. I've been saying it for a long time. Team's not good enough. So if that doesn't turn around, I don't think that he's going to push for MVP this season. It's really, to me, it's at this point between Allen and Mahomes, and unless a lot of unforeseen things happen, it'll be between those guys. But that's my list. How about yours?
I still have Allen up top. I mean, it's hard for me to pass a guy, but Mahomes, like you said, did have a phenomenal week. But I can't pass a guy that's on bye, so Allen is still in that tier off to himself, and Mahomes is knocking on the door. He's much closer this week than he was last week. Same thing with Hurts. He would be in third position for me right now because he did nothing to lose that position over the weekend. Burrow is absolutely climbing the ranks after that performance. If he continues that, he's going to have his name right up there at the top at the end of this season, where he almost made it last season, to tell you the truth. I mean, he was playing phenomenal then. And then you got guys like Geno and I think Geno's ahead of Lamar by now. I mean, Lamar is overall the better quarterback, but Geno's playing much better. Lamar's not playing well right now. If he keeps this up, I think Daniel Jones is going to pass Lamar before long. But, yep, that's my top 5.
Right. Yeah, and again, you're completely right about that. The MVP is not a legacy award. It's the last 7 weeks award. It doesn't matter who you are. Brady, Rodgers, been playing well for 15 years, doesn't matter at all. This season is all that counts. And this season, Geno Smith is a top 5 quarterback so far. That's simply the truth. But if you disagree or if you generally have an opinion on this, you can check out the channel community page where there's a poll, there's a vote every week for the NFL MVP. If the season ended today, who would be the MVP? You can leave your vote there and even explain in a comment of what you think. With that being said, let's get into these games. For week 8, we got Thursday night, and this was supposed to be a really, really good game. Probably still is, but we have the Ravens at the Bucs.
Yeah, and like I said, Lamar is not playing well. That offense is not firing. If Lamar is not hitting Mark Andrews consistently, that offense is not running. Those two guys are the offense. You're not going to do it through Bateman or one of the litany of running backs they have there. Gus is back. He did not look great at all. With J.K. Dobbins out, that was their star by far, and he hasn't completely recovered from his injury, and now he's out with another injury. So that offense just doesn't seem to get going. The defense is what it is. It's not as good as years past. But I guess they held the Browns to fewer points than we had seen them score recently. They just can't get over that hump with the offense right now. The Bucs are horrible. The Bucs are really bad. Like I said, if you have Tom Brady on your team and that all-star cast that they have, that super team, they should be winning, and they should be winning by a lot. That offense is really bad. Tom Brady is probably on his last season. Him and Rodgers are probably going to fade off into the sunset at the end of the season if things don't change for them. I'm going to take the Ravens on the road here.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. I have no way to explain what's happening to Tampa Bay. Like, no way to. You're playing the worst team in the league who just traded away their best player in division, and you're getting not just beat but blown out, outclassed by a terrible Panthers team that just fired their head coach, traded away their best player, and is on their third string quarterback. And by the way, this is the best roster in the NFL, top to bottom. You have the arguably top 2 defense in the league, the definitely top 2 defense, arguably the best in the league. You have, like you said, a complete all-star offense. I have no explanation for what's happening here, but I will go with this. I'm gonna say, my senses won't deceive me. I'm gonna pick the Bucs to bounce back in this one. It's an island game, Thursday night game. Not that many eyes on it. Maybe people kind of expecting they're in a lull. They have this veteran presence and the solid defense they have. They have to bounce back eventually, right? They're not just gonna get stomped out for the rest of the season. That can't happen. That's beneath them, right? Too much class on the roster. I'm gonna say this is a marquee game, and the Bucs come back and they beat the Ravens at home. Broncos at the Jaguars. This is a London game, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's a home game for the Jaguars there. How long before they actually move to London is the question, because it's been talked about for the past 5 or 6 years now. The Broncos are really bad. I think I sent you a message earlier in the week that said I don't think any quarterback over the age of 30 right now is worth starting at this point. It's really bad. Russell is bad. Brady's bad. Rodgers is bad. Matt Ryan is bad. I mean, anybody else you can think of in that category, they're probably bad. I don't know. The Broncos they're not going to get it going. I just can't see it in this game. I think the Jags, being that it is London, but still a home game for the Jags, they're going to have more fans there than the Broncos, you would think. I guess the Broncos are kind of a blue blood team, so it's hard to tell. I'm going to go with Lawrence and the Jags to get it going here. The Broncos just seem too easy to beat right now.
I have one fun fact for you. Geno Smith is 33 years old. And
wow. Well, there's one.
Best quarterback over 30 so far in this season. It's actually the truth. Yes, I will agree with you. As for the Broncos, I also have no explanation of why they're this bad. But quarterback here or there doesn't matter. Straight up, Russell Wilson's not performing, and neither are backups. Jacksonville held their own against the Giants. I came on and I ripped those betting odds last week and saying it's ridiculous that Jacksonville is like, this is basically a pick'em game against the 5-1 Giants. They made it a close game. They really played up. So I have to give respect for that, and they held the game, kept the game close the whole time. So I'm gonna pick Jacksonville as well in London with the de facto home crowd to beat the Broncos. Panthers at the Falcons.
Well, Before last week, I would have said the Falcons should have no problem winning this game. Now it is at home, and the Falcons have played well at home. The Falcons still have a great offense. They are scoring. They just got outclassed completely by the Bengals this past week. The Panthers, maybe they got some momentum coming off of that win over the Bucs and Brady. I mean, the Falcons in the end couldn't do it, but we all know why. I mean, the referees made sure the Falcons were not going to win that game. Surprisingly, that didn't happen here because the Bucs were just not in the game for that to happen. I don't think the Panthers are just going to get it going from this part. They have announced they are starting PJ Walker again. The Falcons are throwing the ball under 20 times a game, usually in the lower teens, it seems. I guess I'll be a homer here and go ahead and pick the Falcons again and probably lose another point.
I'm gonna agree with you. Actually, I'm not going Panthers. I'm chalking this up to being a one-off. I'll take the Falcons as well. Here's why: because the Falcons, if anything, they didn't believe before the season, but now they actually have an out. They have a clear path to winning this division and making the playoffs, which no one expected them to do before the season. But the Bucs are not. They're just not playing well. The Saints, Panthers just completely suck. The Falcons are very much in it to win this division, and they have the schedule to be able to do it. So I think they'll come up with this extra batch of motivation, especially if they see the Bucs lose again against Baltimore, because they suddenly have a chance to become the front runner in the division. So I'll take Atlanta to beat up on the Panthers here. Bears at the Cowboys.
The Cowboys' defense is what's winning games for them. And the Bears pulled that surprising. I guess that was an upset last night.
Oh, yeah.
Or 2 nights ago as you're hearing this. And that was in New England, which is kind of amazing. I did not see that coming at all. But the experiment of Bailey Zappi fell apart there. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this because they are putting up points. That offense seemed to get going against a really good Patriots defense. That's how the Patriots win. But I guess the Cowboys defense, though, is even better than the Patriots, in my opinion. Dak took it easy from what he was saying. However, he explained that in his own words, that he was trying to go softly back into competition. So maybe he's going to get rolling even more. I would expect that, especially being in Dallas, the Cowboys should easily win this game.
Yeah, give me the Dallas Cowboys against the Bears here. This win, I'm not going to take away and say from it and not going to down talk the fact that it was probably Justin Fields' best career game so far in the NFL and deserves every bit of it, especially against the Patriots. Patriots are going to be fine. They're going back to Mac Jones and ending the experimentation there. But the Cowboys are a better team all over, and they're going to have a stronger defense. And I think things will go back to normal. Dallas is going to win. Dolphins at the Lions.
Yeah, another offense that couldn't quite get going this week. They did get the win in the end over the Steelers, but the Steelers are a bad team. I'm thinking the more healthier Tua gets, the better this offense is going to run. The Lions are just bad all around. They had a great defense at the beginning of the season, even though they weren't winning games up to par, but they did have an explosive offense, and that is gone now. Amon-Ra St. Brown first came back and got injured again. So that was the star of that offense at the time. Swift is not out there. They definitely have nothing. You're not going to do it with... I forgot. What's the other backup's name? Jamal Williams, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not going to do it with Jamal Williams. I'm going to expect the Dolphins to get back on track and take this one on the road.
I fully agree with that. Tua's back in the lineup, and the Dolphins are still undefeated with Tua this season starting. I think they'll be just fine, and this is an easy recovery game to get back into their winning ways because it's a tough division. They're going to be competing for it, but this is a must-win game after all for the Dolphins to maintain playoff aspirations. And by the way, they're only 3-point favorites in this one, which I find to be very conservative. Seems to me like a good bet. So Dolphins to go into Detroit and win quite handily. Cardinals at the Vikings.
Well, this offense actually got going last week. That was a phenomenal game by them, much like the Bears, I guess, because it was not expected, especially an island game against a pretty good defense like the Saints. they looked like they were back to the beginning of last season before they fell apart. Can that continue? I really don't know. But on the other hand, the Vikings are still doing what the Vikings do. I mean, I'm sure at some point this season it's going to fall apart for the Vikings. But being rested and coming off of that bye week, they should be ready to go here. I'm kind of afraid of it now. Oh, yeah, and I looked it up too, and Kirk Cousins is actually 34 also. So, but that last game, like you said last week, was statistically his worst game of the season. So I'll put him in the category for now. I'm going to go with the Vikings at home, though, to take this one.
Yeah, I agree with that. We've seen flashes from Arizona, but too little to really bet on them at this point. So I'm going to go Minnesota as well. They have a strong record. They have incredibly strong offensive weapons. The elite running back, 2 elite receivers. That's hard to match up for a lot of teams, and Arizona, I think, has been too inconsistent to really be in the conversation with teams like that. But it could then, on the other side, it could be a big upset win and getting back on track or gaining the momentum that they desperately need. But I'm going to go Minnesota as well. Raiders at the Saints.
Oh man, do we put Derek Carr in the over 30 playing really bad? That offense is firing. Yeah. I mean, it was against the Texans, so what can you say? They got their second win, which, en route to 8-1 apparently. But the Saints were firing offensively, like I said, playing against the Cardinals in that island game. So this should be a high-scoring game. If the last few games for both of these teams is any indication, this should be a shootout in the end. The defenses are not holding up, especially on the Raiders side, so the Saints should be putting up over 30 points, and the Raiders should also. I would load up some fantasy assets in this game for sure. I think I'm going to call it a toss-up and just give the 3 points to the Saints at home.
So it's a difficult one, but I'm going to actually pick the Raiders. And this is motivated by nothing but my agenda of them going 8-1, which I need them to win 2 games to get back to 500. And this is a very winnable game. There's not that many winnable games on the schedule the way they've been playing this year, but this is one of them, and this is the one that they have to win in order to actually get there. So I'm taking the Raiders to win at New Orleans. Patriots at the Jets.
Wow, the Jets are having a Cinderella season. Nobody expected them. I mean, much like the Giants, no one expected that there was going to be this many wins and this few losses amongst the 2 New York teams, or New Jersey teams, if you want to say that. Patriots coming off of that bad win. I assume that since Belichick owns the Jets and he's going to have this team whipped into shape by then, if Mac Jones can come out and play up to par where he was last season, which is all they need is a good game manager. And if the defense can hold a team, I'm going to say they just walked into a buzzsaw with the Bears and say that they get back on track and the Jets finally go down for the first time in a while.
So this is kind of a reality check kind of game, right? Is this still the NFL that we are all used to, or is something fundamentally changing? We talked about with all the old quarterbacks kind of falling off the map this year, and Geno Smith rising. And a lot of teams we didn't expect at the top, a lot of teams we didn't expect at the bottom. This is a reality check, and this is sort of a grounding moment, I think, not just for these 2 teams, but for the entire NFL season. Because this is one of the commandments of the NFL, right? The Patriots beat the Jets, and not just beat the Jets, but beat the tar out of the Jets. And I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna go with what I've ever known, and this may be a uneducated caveman decision out of habit, but I'm gonna say the Patriots hold it together and win. And by the way, the Patriots are favored, so Las Vegas believes this as well. The Patriots are favored against the 5-2 Jets, who have been on a tear of a winning streak. So the odds makers do believe in the laws of the NFL. I'm going to go with it, but nothing surprises me anymore. Patriots to win. Steelers at the Eagles.
Man, Steelers, their fans have to be feeling bad, along with the Bucs and such. Man, the Eagles coming off a bye, I expect them to be motivated. I don't think this is going to be one of those games like we saw on Monday night where the better team just walks into a buzzsaw and gets ate up. That shouldn't happen. You want to think that at some point Kenny Pickett is going to put it together with George Pickens out there and, maybe be like a Eli Manning and Odell Beckham, those Monday night highlights and things like that. That's probably where we're headed there. Now, are they going to get it together against the best record in the entire NFL and a top 5 team power rankings wise? I don't think so. I think the Eagles, especially being at home, should roll right over the Steelers.
We didn't think so either when the Steelers beat the Bucs. Mm-hmm. But this time I do agree with you because the Eagles just haven't lost and their run game is phenomenal. And so is their defense, by the way. The Steelers have a lot of work to do. They might be in for their first losing season under Mike Tomlin's tenure. Can you believe it? That Mike Tomlin has not had a losing season in Pittsburgh.
That's true, yeah.
Very, very underappreciated. But this might be it. This might be it. The first year without a lot of big names, missing Ben, and of course missing T.J. Watt as well. So I'm gonna pick the Eagles as well to just keep going for now. Titans at the Texans.
Oh, man, I thought of something last week. Mike Vrabel and Frank Reich kind of have that dynamic like McVay and Shanahan going on.
Yeah,
and it just turns out that Vrabel owns Frank Reich.
Maybe there's something like that. Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, the record shows. I think they've won 5 or 6 in a row now. The Titans have against the Colts. But another division rival here, the Texans, are really bad outside of their star rookie running back. They don't have much to speak of. Brandon Cooks has fallen off the map somewhere. They just can't get it going. This passing game is really bad. Garbage time touchdowns happen, but that is no indication that they can actually go out and win against a team like the Titans, who seem to be back on their playoff trajectory, which they'll probably lose to the Ravens or the Chiefs or something in the first round, but Titans to win this one on the road.
Yes, absolutely agree. Only 2.5 point favorites. Bit surprising to me because they're basically on an upswing and the Texans are very much bottom dwellers, but Titans to win, no doubt. Washington's at the Colts.
Yeah, unexpected win here against the Colts. The Colts are benching Matt Ryan. Speaking of Frank Reich, what is he doing? This makes absolutely no sense. After a while, you keep bringing in these veterans quarterbacks and saying, well, they're just no good. They're not working out for us. At some point, you have to say, well, maybe it's not the quarterback. Maybe it's the coach here. And the Commanders are coming off of a little win streak somehow. It's ugly fashion. But with Taylor Heineke out there, they seem to be playing even better than Wentz, which is not great, but it's something to be said for it. If we're seeing Texas quarterback out there for the Colts, I'm definitely going with the Commanders on the road.
Wow, this is a tough one to pick because Taylor Heineke legitimately breathes life into this organization every time he steps on the field. He's kind of becoming a local legend there as well. Mm-hmm. It's tough to pick. It's a pick'em game. Say the odds makers pretty much. Indianapolis has 3 points for being at home. And with Matt Ryan being benched, this is a complete enigma. This is very tough to pick. I'm going to rely on the better defense in this one because it could be a very volatile game. And the better defense to me is the Colts. So I will take the Colts to win it. But this is a surprise box for sure. We did not expect this. This was supposed to be the revenge game for Carson Wentz. And it's kind of nothing like that at all. But I'm putting my money on the Colts here. Niners at the Rams.
Yeah, speaking of McVay and Shanahan, here we are again. History tells you to bet on the 49ers, right? We've discussed it on this show so many times, even when I would make jokes and say that McVay owns Shanahan. It is absolutely true that the 49ers win probably over 70% of these games against the Rams. Now, this is tough. Neither one of these teams are firing completely offensively. The 49ers, they have their weapons going. I don't know why Debo seems to be missing at times out of these games, but Ayuk is working out pretty decently right now. I mean, you're not going to have an extremely flashy offense with Garoppolo back there, but Christian McCaffrey is on the team now. And on the other side, the Rams coming off of a bye. Excuse me. I expect they're rested up, and it's going to be at home for the Rams. I think I will take the 40. No, I'm going to take the Rams. Take the Rams at home.
Okay, I'm going to say this one thing, though. At home for the Rams doesn't mean at home for the Rams. It's not going to work that way. 70% of the crowd is going to wear red, and that's always the case when these two play. That's the case surprisingly often when the Niners play on the road, especially in LA. This is going to be a home game for San Francisco. Not in their stadium, but in front of their home audience. And in terms of, Christian McCaffrey was in a very limited rep count last week, which is fair. He'd been there for 2 days, barely studying any play. I expected him to be more involved. And Jimmy Garoppolo 7-0 against the Rams in the regular season. I mean, every time they play, it's a broken record. It's a running joke in both communities. I'm gonna, not without even trying to be a big homer, I'm gonna pick the Niners because it just is what happens. It's just, sometimes, even though it doesn't make logical sense until this like broken record actually gets properly broken, I'm gonna go with how it's always been, similar to the Patriots-Jets situation. So Niners to win and bounce back against the Rams. Giants at the Seahawks.
I'm telling you, the Rams are due at some point. It has to happen.
It has to at some point, but maybe not this time.
I mean, the streaks can't last forever. That's just how they work.
Next year.
Man, speaking of a streak, the Giants are on one right now. They are playing. Okay, is the Giants really that improved, or are they just playing over their heads at the moment? That's the question. Seahawks are in the same boat. They're winning. That offense looks great. I actually looked up the Vegas odds, and Seahawks are the home dog right now, and that makes it tough. I want the Giants to keep winning. I really do. And I think they have a good shot at winning this. The Seahawks defense is not that great. But some gut feeling tells me don't go against the home underdog in this game. So I'm actually going to pick the Seahawks to take this one at home.
Okay, this one's tough. See, the odds I'm looking at, or I did look at, were actually the Seahawks 3-point favorites at home, which translates into this is an exact pick'em. Which I can kind of understand. The Giants and their record are still being underrepresented in the betting odds. And that's because the odds makers are very tentative of this team that has not completely changed that much from last year and has sucked for so many years before that. But maybe the coaching change really is what was needed. And I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna pick the Giants, also because I really want the Giants to win this one. It's in Seattle after all. Have to go to Seattle and win. I always need that to happen. So Giants to keep going and move up to 7-1.
I hope so.
This division is murderer's row. You have the undefeated Eagles, the Cowboys, and the Giants. Wow,
That's crazy.
This is actually a 3 playoff team division. When at the start of the season we assumed it to be 1. This is amazing. It really is amazing. But Giants to keep going.
Yeah.
Packers at the Bills in primetime.
Well, there's not much debate about this one. The Packers are bad. Rodgers looks like he doesn't want to be out there anymore. There's no rays of sunshine right now for that Packers offense. Romeo Doubs is not getting it done. Lazard, when he's in the lineup, he makes a few decent plays, but then he keeps getting knocked out due to injuries and such. But on the other hand, the Bills are coming back, and the Bills are the number 1 team in the league. There should be no doubt that the Bills will win this one at home.
I do agree with that. Buffalo to beat the Packers in primetime. I'm not going to make any excuses for Aaron Rodgers here at all. He had choices multiple times. He's been there long enough to know how this organization works and what they were going to do to him. He picked the money over a chance to win. So I'm not feeling sorry for that at all. He picked the big money and he decided to stay. And that means you put up with whatever they put in front of you because you knew this was going to happen. You absolutely knew that your special teams was going to suck. Terrible, lose you games. You knew that they somehow whiff on receivers all the time. People are going to drop open touchdown passes. Your defense is not going to hold up the broken. You knew that. He knew all of that. He decided to take the money. And like you said, the Bills are fantastic. Coming off of a bye week, they're strong home favorites. This is actually the biggest spread I've seen all week, which is incredible to see with Aaron Rodgers on the other end of any game. But that is what it is. 11-point favorites are the Buffalo Bills. So I'm going to take them to win. Bigger favorites than the Eagles against the Steelers at home. By the way, that's how badly they think of Green Bay.
Wow.
And then Monday night, finally, we have it being closed out by the Bengals and the Browns.
Yeah, the Bengals are back on track. It seems like every year we get this Battle of Ohio game in an island somewhere. It seems like it's usually on Thursdays, but they decided to throw this one on Monday this time, and I'm not mad at it. This should be a high-scoring game. Both of these offenses are capable of scoring. One through the air and one through the ground. Oh, man. Nick Chubb looks wonderful. He is great. I bet if Watson was out there, though, I know it's a divisive thing to say, but Watson is a much better quarterback than Brissett. This would be a really good matchup to see the former national championship winners going against each other. That would be great. I'm going to take the Bengals on the road. They're overall better, and if they keep up this momentum, they could possibly blow this game out.
Yeah, I don't think it's a divisive thing to say that Deshaun Watson is a better quarterback than Jacoby Brissett. I'm pretty sure that's universally accepted.
It is, but some people are mad at the situation.
Yeah, that'll be mad, but it's definitely true. I'm going to take the Bengals as well. 100% agree with that. They're on a roll. They're bouncing back from a terrible start. They're now in the top 5 of teams, and they're showing that their success from last year wasn't a fluke. That this is legitimately a good team, legitimately an explosive offense. Though there are weaknesses, and those are still mostly the offensive line and some shaky play calling at times. I mean, I gotta say, if anything, Zach Taylor is holding this team back more than he's helping it forward, and still they're still being very successful. Browns are kind of in no man's land, as we sort of expected them to be. They have been for a long time, so I'll take the Bengals to win this one as well, and really start competing for the division with only really Baltimore. The other two teams are mostly irrelevant. So that's the picks for this week. We have the Chiefs and Chargers on bye. Chargers need it. Chargers really need that bye because they're still underperforming in a division that's weaker than we thought. Chiefs have lost 2. The Raiders are terrible. The Broncos are terrible, and this should be the Chargers' playoff spot for the taking, but they're actually having to claw for it, which was not to be expected. But they need the bye week for sure. Do we have anything in the realm of fantasy football going on?
Yeah, definitely. We are this far into the season, and we can start assessing breakouts. Who is on a breakout already, and who is about to be on a breakout, and who you can trust to continue their breakout for the rest of the season. We'll discuss that on the Hurry Up Offense this week.
I am definitely looking forward to that. Is it possible that the name Daniel Jones will be mentioned?
Well, that is a good possibility. He might be on there.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that. With that being said, everybody, thank you for watching. Devontae Adams is ranked 14th in the league in receptions, just on the side. Just wanted to get that one in there. Thank you for watching. Drop us a like and go to the channel community page and vote for your favorite to win the NFL MVP. If the season ended today, Mahomes or Allen, or do you have maybe a bold prediction of someone else? Let us know on the channel community page, and be sure to check in for that Hurry Up Offense professional fantasy advice coming out tomorrow, just before kickoff of the Thursday night game as well, so you're not going to miss anything there. And thank you for watching. We're going to see you in the next one.
Deuces.
Check the scoreboard. Ha. Check.